I covered sister's rent, paid off her debt, and even handed her the keys to my car more than once. But when she wrecked it, she didn't just avoid responsibility. She actually called the cops on me. And of course, my parents took her side. So I gave them something they'd remember for the rest of their lives. My name's Ethan Brooks. I'm 32, and I've spent a good chunk of my adult life cleaning up the endless messes my younger sister, Natalie, left behind, whether it was paying her bills, smoothing things over when she screwed up, or just trying to keep her afloat. And believe me, she always managed to screw things up. Natalie was 26, but she behaved more like a reckless teenager than a grown woman. She never held down a steady job, never saved any money, and never once accepted responsibility for her actions. But somehow, that always became my burden to carry. Our parents, David and Linda Brooks, decided a long time ago that Natalie was just too delicate to handle real life. Mom used to say she was a free spirit, that she just needed time to figure things out. Dad took a different approach. He just avoided dealing with her altogether. So when she dropped out of college and came crawling back home, they dumped her into my lap. Ethan, you're the older one. You've always been so responsible. Natalie just needs a little support, that's it. She'll mature soon. That little bit of help turned into years of draining my bank account. When she couldn't cover rent, I wrote the check. When her credit cards hit the limit from all the shopping sprees and weekend getaways, I paid them off. I even took care of her car insurance after she forgot about it. And every single time, I told myself, she's my sister. She'll grow out of this eventually, but she never did. And this time, she crossed a line I couldn't ignore. It all started with a casual text, like she hadn't done anything wrong. Hey, she wrote, took your car for the weekend trip. You weren't using it anyway, right? I just stared at the screen, struggling to process the words, my car, the one I had worked overtime shifts to afford, the one I still made monthly payments on. I called her instantly, heart pounding. What do you mean you took my car? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She let out a tired sigh, like I was the one overreacting. Relax, Mike, it's just for the weekend. We're heading up to the cabin, remember? I never said you could take my car. I snapped. You didn't even ask. I wasn't home, sure. But that doesn't make it yours. She just shrugged it off. What's the big deal? My jaw clenched. The big deal is that it's my car, not hers. But before I could say anything else, she hung up. I should have gone straight to our parents right then. But I already knew what they'd say. Ethan, it's just a car. She's your sister. Why are you being so dramatic? She didn't steal it. She's just borrowing it. So I let it slide. I shouldn't have. Then came the call, 2 a.m., ripping me out of sleep. Natalie was sobbing. Mike, I got into an accident. I shot upright, heart racing so fast my vision blurred. Are you okay? I asked. I think so, she breathed, but the car, there was a long, shaky inhale. It's totaled. After that, I barely registered what she was saying. Everything blurred together, my car, my name on the insurance, my problem. Again, she kept rambling, her voice quivering. Mike, I need you to come down here. The cops, they're being really unfair. Just tell them everything's fine, okay? She wanted me to lie for her again. I gripped the phone tight, took a deep breath, and said slowly, no. I'm not doing this. Silence. Then came the disgusted scoff. Are you serious? Ethan, I'm your sister. I know, I said, keeping my voice even. And that's exactly the problem. She went quiet for a second, probably stunned I didn't cave like usual. Then, right on cue, she exploded. Are you kidding me? Ethan, she shrieked. You're seriously going to leave me here to deal with this alone? After everything. And I knew what she meant by everything. She was talking about all the times I'd bailed her out, every bill I'd paid, every mess I cleaned up, every time I let her off the hook. And now, because I finally said no, I was the bad guy. I took a deep breath, pressing the phone to my ear. You stole my car, Nat, you wrecked it. And now, instead of taking responsibility, you want me to cover for you again? Do you even hear how insane that is? She let out a sharp laugh. Oh, come on, Ethan. It's just money. You can afford it. I'm the one who got hurt. There was classic Natalie, twisting the story around until she looked like the victim. I could already imagine what she'd tell Mom and Dad. Ethan doesn't care. I was in an accident, and he just left me to suffer. And of course, they believe every word, but I was done. Call Mom and Dad. I told her, maybe now, they'll finally step up and take care of their daughter, because I'm out. And I hung up. The betrayal hit full force the next morning. Just like I expected, my phone lit up with messages, Mom. Ethan, what is wrong with you? Natalie could have died. Dad, we raised you better than this. You need to step up and take care of your family. Mom again. The hospital bill is enormous. Ethan, she's your sister. I stared at the screen, feeling something new. Not guilt, not even anger, just complete, bone-deep exhaustion. I didn't reply. I didn't answer the calls. I shut it all out until Dad showed up at my apartment. I opened the door to see him standing there, arms crossed, face hard. "Get dressed," he barked. "We're going to the hospital." I nearly laughed. "No, we're not." His eyes narrowed. "Ethan, stop acting like a selfish brat. Your sister needs you." I crossed my arms. "What she really needs is my wallet." He didn't even flinch. "She's family. You don't abandon family." I let out a long, slow breath. Funny, that only seems to apply when I'm the one giving and she's the one taking. His jaw tensed. "You're making this harder than it has to be." "No, Dad, you made this harder the moment you decided Natalie's life was my responsibility instead of yours. She's your daughter. Why don't you cover her hospital bills?" His face twisted. "We don't have that kind of money," he snapped. And there it was. The truth laid bare. I tilted my head. "But I do, right? That's what this is really about. It's always about the money with you people." His face flushed red. "Ethan, this is your last chance. Either you help or you're out of this family." I laughed, not just a chuckle, a real, honest laugh. "Out of this family," I echoed. "Dad, I was never really in it. I was just the emergency you all guilt-tripped into keeping the lights on." I stepped back and grabbed the door. "Good luck with Natalie," I said, staring him dead in the eyes, "because I'm done." And just like that, I closed the door right in his face. 2 full days went by in total silence. No calls, no texts, not even a guilt-tripping voicemail from Mom. I should have felt lighter. I should have felt like I'd finally escaped. No more surprise Venmo requests from Natalie. No more teary phone calls from Mom begging me to just help one more time. No more of that worn-out line. "Ethan, be a good brother." But something didn't sit right. Natalie wasn't the type to bow quietly. Then, on the 3rd morning, everything came crashing down. It was 7 a.m. when I jolted awake to the sound of fists pounding on my front door. Not knocking, banging. Still half asleep. I stumbled over and yanked the door open. 2 uniformed officers stood there, both dead serious. "Ethan Brooks?" one of them asked. My stomach turned to stone. "Yes," I said cautiously. The taller one flipped open a notepad. "We're here regarding a stolen vehicle report," he said. My blood ran cold. "Stolen?" I echoed. "What are you talking about?" His face didn't move, no hint of emotion. "Your sister, Natalie Brooks, is claiming you stole her car, wrecked it, and left her at the scene." I actually laughed for a second. I thought it was a prank. "My car? The one I bought, paid insurance on, and still owe payments for? That car?" He didn't flinch. "Do you have documentation proving ownership?" he asked. I blinked at him. "Of course I do. The title's in my name." But it wasn't the question that rattled me. It was the fact that Natalie had the nerve to flip the story like this, and even worse, that my parents had gone along with it. The officer kept reading. "She also alleges that you threatened her after the crash, that you refused to help and told her she'd regret it." My fists clenched at my sides. "That is a complete lie," I said through gritted teeth. The other officer gave his partner a nod. "Then you won't mind coming down to the station to make a statement?" I could barely speak. Natalie hadn't just tried to guilt me into helping her this time. She had taken it to a whole new level. She was trying to destroy me. At the station, they led me into this small, freezing room with flickering fluorescent lights and a metal chair that felt like punishment on purpose. My heart wouldn't slow down. A new officer sat across from me, file in hand. "Let's start from the top," he said calmly. "Walk me through what happened that night." So I did. I told him everything. How she took the car without asking. How she called me at 2 a.m. after crashing it. How she demanded I lie to cover for her. And how my parents immediately sided with her. The officer scribbled notes as I spoke, nodding occasionally. "Do you have anything that supports your version of events?" he asked. I didn't say anything. I just pulled out my phone and opened the messages. There it was, Natalie's original text. "Hey, took your car for the weekend trip. You weren't using it anyway, right?" I handed him the phone. "Start with that." He scanned it silently, then gave a quiet whistle as his eyebrows rose. "Well, that's interesting." He stepped out for a minute and returned holding a folder. "This is her statement," he said, sliding it across the table. I read it and wanted to laugh out loud. She claimed I snuck in during the night, took her car while she was sleeping, got drunk, crashed it, and abandoned her at the scene. Then I saw the bottom of the page. Witnesses, David and Linda Brooks, our parents, confirming her version. My own family had signed their names to that mess. I leaned back, heart pounding but voice steady. "I'd like to file a report of my own," I said. The officer raised an eyebrow. "Against your sister?" "Yes," I said without hesitation. "She took my car without permission. I want to press charges." He paused. "You're sure?" "I'm pressing for grand theft auto," I said flatly, "and I want every word of that false statement on record." Just like that, the tables finally turned. By the time I got back to my apartment, my phone was already blowing up, dozens of missed calls and texts. "Mom, Ethan, what have you done?" "Dad, you need to drop this now. You're ruining Natalie's future." "Mom again. She's your sister. Families forgive each other." And then, finally, one last message, this time from Natalie herself. "You're dead to me." I stared at the screen, my pulse pounding, then, slowly, I smiled. For the first time in my entire life, I felt completely, unbelievably free. I knew there'd be fallout, but I hadn't expected it to hit this fast. While the police were still reviewing my statement, Natalie's world started crumbling. This wasn't just some minor citation. She was now looking at felony charges. Grand theft auto isn't something you walk away from with a slap on the wrist. And filing a false report? That only made it worse. But the real fireworks? They came when she lost the one thing she actually cared about. Her job. Natalie's downfall had officially begun. The next morning, my phone rang. Not from her, not from my parents, but from an unfamiliar number I almost didn't answer. When I did, a woman's voice came through, professional but cautious. "Mr. Brooks, this is Dana Field from Hamilton and Company." I blinked. That was Natalie's job. Why were they calling me? I said yes, slowly, unsure where this was going. Dana cleared her throat like she was trying to be careful. "We're conducting an internal investigation concerning an employee, Natalie Brooks. Your name appeared in a related police report, and we'd like to clarify a few things." My stomach nodded, but I kept my tone steady. "What kind of things?" "She listed you as a character witness in our review. We're trying to determine if she's involved in any ongoing legal issues that might impact our decision." For a second, I just stared at the wall. Then I let out a breath and laughed once, humorless. "Legal issues? You mean like the time she stole my car, lied to the police, and tried to get me arrested?" Dana went quiet. The line crackled slightly. Then she cleared her throat again and said, "That's all we needed, Mr. Brooks. Thank you." And just like that, she hung up. Not even 3 hours later, the phone started ringing again. This time it was Natalie. First call came in at 10:37 a.m. I didn't pick up. Second call at 10:42, still ignored. Third call at 10:45, I watched her name light up my screen. And this time, she left a voicemail. I hesitated before playing it, but curiosity got the better of me. Her voice came through loud and furious. "Ethan, I swear to God, you've ruined my life. What the hell is wrong with you? They fired me. I hope you're happy, you selfish." I deleted it before she finished the sentence. Fourth call came in at 11:02. Against my better judgment, I picked up. Her voice trembled, but not from guilt, from fury barely held together. "You need to fix this." I laughed into the phone. "Fix what?" "The mess you made." "I didn't do this," she snapped. "I lost my job, Ethan. My lease isn't even paid off. What am I supposed to do now?" I took a breath and let the silence stretch before answering. "Figure it out. That's what." There was a pause, then her tone shifted. Not anger now. Desperation. "Look, I didn't mean for this to spiral like it did." I panicked, "okay? I filed a report because I didn't know what else to do, and Mom and Dad." "Stop." I cut in, my voice turned to ice. "Don't drag them into this. You made that choice alone. You thought I'd bail you out again, like always, but I'm done. I'm not your ATM. I'm not your cover story. I'm not your punching bag." Her silence told me she knew I meant every word. And then she did the thing she always did when cornered. She softened her voice, that fake sweetness that always used to work on people. "Mike, please, I'm out of options. I need your help." There was the real reason: money, shelter, or rescue. But there was no apology, just fear of consequences. I waited, let the silence fill every corner of the call. Then I said quietly, "Welcome to real life, Nat," and I hung up. I knew my parents would come next. They always did. That evening, I heard the crunch of tires in my driveway. Didn't even need to check. I already knew. I opened the front door before they could knock. There they were, standing like a united front, arms folded, faces drawn tight, looking at me like I'd set the world on fire. Mom didn't waste a second. "You need to fix this." I leaned against the doorframe. Fix what exactly? Dad's jaw was clenched. Your sister. She lost everything because of what you did. I couldn't help the bitter laugh that escaped. What I did? She lied to the police and tried to destroy my life. Remember? She was scared. Mom's voice rose. She didn't know how else to handle it. She could have owned her mistakes for once, I said, my voice flat. But instead, she doubled down. Mom narrowed her eyes. Oh, and I suppose you've never made a mistake? None that got an innocent person dragged into a police station, I said without flinching. Her mouth snapped shut. Then came the real reason they were here. She's your sister, Ethan, Mom said, tones softening in that manipulative way. If you don't take her in, she'll have nowhere to go. I felt something shift inside me, something cold and final. You want me to let her move in here? I asked deadpan. They didn't say yes, but they didn't have to. I looked from one to the other. You sided with her, you called me selfish, you lied to the police for her, and now you're asking me to open my home to the person who tried to ruin my life? Dad spoke quietly, like he was trying to appeal to something long gone. We're family. Family forgives? I stared at him for a moment. Then I nodded once. Not this time. And I shut the door in their faces. I heard Mom gasp, Dad muttering something under his breath, maybe my name, but I didn't care. I turned the lock, then I walked away. 3 days passed in silence. No calls, no texts. And then came the final message, Natalie again. I'm leaving town. You really ruined everything. Hope you're proud. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Did I feel guilty? No, because for once, I'd stopped choosing them over myself. For once, I'd finally drawn a line. Natalie was gone. My phone stopped buzzing. The family group chat was a ghost town. No more endless requests for money. No more drama dropped in my lap. It should have felt like peace. Instead, it felt like standing in the wreckage after a war. Maybe part of me had always hoped she'd change. Maybe deep down, I still wanted to be her big brother, still wanted a family that didn't see me as a tool to be used and discarded. I was lost in that thought when I heard a soft knock at the door. Not banging, not urgent, just quiet. I checked my phone. No missed calls, no warnings. I opened the door, and there she was, Natalie. But this wasn't the same girl from a week ago. Her hair was messy. Her face was pale. Her clothes looked like she'd slept in them. The arrogance was gone. She looked like someone who'd hit rock bottom and had nothing left to hold on to. Her voice cracked as she said my name. Ethan, I don't have anywhere else to go. For a second, I couldn't even speak. Every late bill I'd paid, every night I'd worked overtime for her, every insult she threw when I said no, every time Mom and Dad told me to be a good brother. It all came rushing back. And I just stood there, staring at her. Not out of anger, out of grief. Because even with everything she'd done, part of me still wished I didn't have to shut the door again. But I knew better now. And now, there she was, standing on my doorstep, pleading in a whisper. Ethan, please. My jaw clenched. You try to have me arrested, Nat. She was like I'd physically hit her, I know. I let out a slow breath, trying to keep my voice steady. You honestly think I can just forget that? She didn't look up. I'm not asking you to forget. I don't have anything left. I studied her face, the usual mask of arrogance, pride, charm. It was all gone. No job, no apartment, the friends who once orbited her life. Gone, too. Natalie Brooks, center of her own universe, was now completely alone. She took a trembling breath. I'm not here for money. I'm not asking for a place to crash. She hesitated, eyes glassy, voice cracking. I need my brother. And there was no manipulation this time, no bargaining, just those 5 raw words. I need my brother. And for the first time in years, she almost looked like the girl I used to protect, my little sister. And somehow, that hit harder than everything else. Because deep down, I knew this was the crossroads, the moment everything hinged on. I had always been her cushion, her cleanup crew, her last resort. But if I let her back in now, if I opened that door again, nothing would ever change. She wouldn't grow. She wouldn't take accountability. She'd just reset the cycle. She must have seen on my face what I was about to do, because her whole expression shifted. Panic crept in. Ethan, don't do this, she said quickly, voice rising. I swear I'll change. Just give me a chance, please. I shook my head. Slowly, you've had more than enough chances, Nat, 100, maybe more. Her face crumpled. You're my brother. You're supposed to help me. There was that same old entitlement, that same belief that my love for her was supposed to come with unlimited forgiveness and unconditional cleanup duty. My hands curled into fists at my sides. And what about you, Nat? What have you ever done for me? She blinked like she didn't understand the question. What? I stepped forward. I mean it. What have you ever done for me? You stole my car. You wrecked it. You tried to send me to jail. You lied to our parents repeatedly. And now, because no one else wants to deal with you, you show up here hoping I'll just erase it all? Her lips trembled. I thought we were still family. I stared at her for a long moment. And when I finally spoke, my voice was quiet. A real family doesn't do what you did to me. She inhaled sharply like I'd punched the air out of her lungs. I shook my head. I hope you figure things out, Nat. Truly, I do, but I can't be part of your life anymore. Ethan, please. I didn't say anything else. I just shut the door. For the last time. Epilogue. A new beginning. 2 months later, I packed up and left. New city, new job, new apartment, a whole new life. No calls from mom, no emails from dad, no random voicemails from Natalie. And the truth? I didn't miss any of them. Because for the first time, I was finally living for me. Sure, there were nights I thought about her, wondered if she was safe, if she'd landed somewhere or vanished entirely. But then I'd remember the years I spent burning myself out trying to rescue someone who never once turned around to thank me. I'd remember what it felt like to live with that weight. And I'd remind myself that this freedom, was the only way she'd ever have a shot at becoming someone better. I wasn't angry anymore. Not bitter. Just free. And I never looked back. Final update. Cutting off my toxic family. Here's how it ended. Hey everyone, it's been a while. I know a lot of you asked for an update after I shared what happened with my sister and my family. So, here it is. The short version. Natalie's gone. My parents still aren't speaking to me. And honestly, I've never been happier. The response to my story was overwhelming. Some of you stood by me completely. Others said I was heartless. So let's talk about that. To those of you who supported me, thank you. Truly, hearing your stories, reading your messages, it made me feel less alone in this. Because setting boundaries? That's hard, especially when you've been taught since birth that family means sacrifice. But you start asking yourself, sacrifice for who? And what are you sacrificing? Natalie had chance after chance. She could have apologized, owned her actions, chosen something different. But she didn't. She tried to ruin me. And choosing myself wasn't some cruel betrayal. It was survival. And to those who think I should have done more, helped her one last time, forgiven her, tried harder with my parents. I hear you. I really do. But let me ask this. Why is the responsibility always on the person who's been hurt? Why am I the one expected to fix what I didn't break? I gave everything, and every time it was thrown back in my face. At some point, enough really is enough, and I reached that point. Where do things stand now? Natalie disappeared off social media. Last I heard, she was couch hopping and burning bridges. My parents are still furious, haven't called, haven't written. And me? New job, new place, no guilt, no begging voicemails, no being the family punching bag. Just peace. So here's my question to you. Was I wrong? Or was this what finally had to happen? Let me know, I'm listening.